Pain is often seen as the absence of God. But what if pain is not the evidence of his distance but rather the marker of his profound presence? What if it is through our suffering that he reveals himself most powerfully? In Psalm chapter 34 verse 18, we are assured, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit." This verse does not promise a life free from pain but emphasizes God's nearness in the midst of it. Pain can feel like a vast, unending desert, but even in the driest wilderness, God provides streams of living water. He is not distant when you are hurting. He is closer than ever, walking with you, carrying you, and holding you in his loving arms. Consider Hagar in Genesis chapter 16. Cast out into the wilderness with her son, Hagar felt abandoned, hopeless, and alone. Yet, in her despair, God appeared to her as El Roi, the God who sees. He did not immediately remove her pain but gave her the strength and assurance to endure. The same God who saw Hagar sees you. He knows every tear you cry, every sleepless night, and every whispered prayer. You are not forgotten, you are deeply loved. Pain, though uncomfortable, draws us closer to God. When everything is going well, it's easy to rely on ourselves and forget our dependence on Him. But when life brings us to our knees, we are reminded of the one who holds the universe. Pain becomes a catalyst for intimacy with God, a place where we learn to trust Him more deeply. Paul reflects on this in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 9. But he said to me, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." It is in our weakest moments that we experience the fullness of God's strength. Pain is also a tool for transformation. Like a potter shaping clay, God uses the trials of life to mold us into the image of Christ. The process can be excruciating, but it is purposeful. Romans chapter 8 verse 28 reminds us, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose." Notice the phrase, "all things." Even the pain you wish to escape is being used for your good. Consider the crucifixion of Jesus. On the surface, it seemed like ultimate defeat as His followers watched Him suffer and die. Yet, through that unimaginable pain came the greatest victory, the redemption of humanity. If God can bring such beauty from the cross, imagine what He can do with your pain. Pain is not meaningless, it is evidence of God's work in your life. Instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" shift your perspective and ask, "God, what are you doing through this?" When you seek Him in your suffering, you will find He is already there, working all things together for your good and His glory. Letting go of false dependencies. Human nature gravitates toward security. We cling to people, possessions, and plans, believing they will keep us safe and fulfilled. But what happens when they fail? When the people you trust let you down, the possessions you treasure lose their value, or the plans you've carefully crafted unravel. In these moments, God invites you to release your grip on false dependencies and trust wholly in Him. Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5-6 urges us to trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Leaning on anything other than God is futile. People may fail, circumstances may change, and our own strength may falter, but God remains steadfast and unchanging. The Israelites' journey through the wilderness illustrates this truth. After being freed from slavery in Egypt, they struggled to trust God as their provider. They longed for the security of their past, even though it meant returning to bondage. God allowed them to experience hunger and dependence so they could learn to rely on Him. In Deuteronomy chapter 8 verse 3, Moses said, "He humbled you, causing you to hunger and then feeding you with manna to teach you that man does not live on bread alone but on every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord." False dependencies take many forms. relationships, careers, wealth, or personal abilities. These things are not inherently bad, but when we place our hope in them instead of God, they become idols. When God removes these crutches, it can feel like He is stripping away our safety. But in reality, He is drawing us closer to Him. Psalm chapter 62 verse 5-6 says, "Yes, my soul, find rest in God, my hope comes from Him. Truly He is my rock and my salvation, He is my fortress, I will not be shaken." Letting go of false dependencies requires surrender. It is not a one-time decision but a daily choice to release your need for control and place your trust in God. This can be painful, as it often means letting go of things you once held dear. But as you release these dependencies, you create space for God to move in your life in unimaginable ways. Jesus addressed this in Matthew chapter 6 verse 20. "Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, when your heart is set on earthly things, you are bound by them. But when your heart is set on God, you are free." One of the greatest challenges is letting go of people we depend on. It's natural to lean on those we love, but even the best people are human and fallible. When they fail us, it can be devastating. Yet, it is in these moments that God reveals Himself as the ultimate source of strength and stability. Isaiah chapter 41 verse 10 assures us, "Do not fear, for I am with you, do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you, I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Letting go of false dependencies is not about living without support or comfort. It's about rooting your trust in God first and foremost. He is your rock, your refuge, and your provider. Everything else in life is temporary, but His presence is eternal. Trust Him, lean on Him, and let go of the things that hold you back. When you depend fully on God, you will find that He is all you need. Focusing on the eternal reward when life becomes overwhelming and the weight of trials feels unbearable, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. Pain has a way of narrowing our vision, making us focus on the immediate discomfort rather than the ultimate purpose. But what if the struggles you're facing today are preparing you for an eternal reward far greater than anything this world could offer? What if the tears, battles, and heartbreaks are all part of a divine tapestry being woven for your eternal good? Paul writes in 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 17-18, "For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal." These words call us to shift our focus from the temporary to the eternal, from the fleeting struggles of this world to the everlasting promises of God. Life on earth is but a vapor, a brief moment in the grand scheme of eternity. Yet, in that fleeting moment, God is shaping and preparing us for something far beyond our understanding. Every trial you endure, every pain you feel, is not wasted, it is achieving something eternal. The struggles of this life are not the end, they are the means through which God is preparing you for His eternal kingdom. Think of the refining process of gold. It is placed in the fire, melted down, and purified. The impurities are burned away, leaving behind something precious and enduring. In the same way, God uses the trials of life to refine us. The fire of hardship is not meant to destroy you, but to prepare you for the eternal reward that awaits. In these moments of testing, your faith is proven genuine, and your character is shaped for eternity. As you navigate the challenges of life, let the promise of the eternal reward sustain you. Remember that the pain you feel today is preparing you for a glory that will never fade. Keep your eyes fixed on Jesus, the author and finisher of your faith. Trust that He is using every trial to mold you, refine you, and draw you closer to Him. When the journey feels too difficult to bear, remind yourself that the eternal reward is worth every tear, every struggle, and every sacrifice. Hold on, endure, and keep your focus on the eternal. For in the end, it will all be worth it.